Of course. It seems like a win for everyone. You'll receive your prize from a god, and the world will be rid of one more rabid werewolf. Everyone except Sinding, that is. Why not? His rampage was what killed a girl, no? And does sparing him free him from this curse? Not all who die deserve it, but it is the way of things. To save hundreds, sometimes you must send one to death. Or in Sinding's case, send him to the hunting grounds. It seems foolish to oppose a god for someone you barely know, not to mention he's a werewolf. But what can I say, my patron? This is what you've paid me for. That depends on who you're asking about. That boy thinks he's fit to be a mercenary just because he put on some armor and picked up a weapon. Skyrim is going to eat him alive, and he even says he wants to take jobs in Hammerfell. Normally, a mercenary protects his patron. Honestly, I think you could have spent that gold somewhere better, like giving an actually professional mercenary a raise. I can. Question is, will our enemies give him that kind of time? It's something that only Eric can answer. Whatever happens to him, it's your conscience that'll have to bear the consequences. I understand. I don't think anyone would want to be a mercenary. It's a profession where we risk our lives and sell our souls for a few pouches of gold. Not slighting your payment, of course. Compare that to merchants or blacksmiths, who can make thousands every month if times are good. No risk to their lives required. Yet they still make the most gold in Skyrim. The point is, they can do their business safely behind the wall's confines. If you've seen as much turmoil as I have, would you not also crave money and safety? There's no glory in war and bloodshed, only profit to be made. But if I can make profit without risking my neck, why shouldn't I? Because they were fools, deceived by the mirage of glory or patriotism. What glory is there for corpses on the battlefield, forgotten as easily as dynasties change? The Thalmor are nothing but fools. Fools who have weapons that can eradicate entire countries with the thirst for war to back it. They've been leaving the Dunmer alone, and we've been cautious of the claws of Alinor. It's unsurprising that anyone would have little interest in Morrowind, even the Thalmor, given it's mostly an ashen wasteland nowadays. Ultimately, the Dunmer as a whole have little stake in the Thalmor's conflicts with the Empire, as neither would treat us fairly. As long as they don't touch Morrowind, my kind will have no quarrel with them. For many good reasons. I haven't told you before about my contract to assassinate a Thalmor commissar, have I? This Thalmor was a high-ranking officer in Abyssian expeditions, a state-owned company in the Dominion, and the East Empire Company's greatest rival. He was visiting his wife in the Thalmor embassy, and the Vici family had contracted me to kill him there. It was nothing about doing the right thing or seeking vengeance against the Thalmor. He was a key figure in Abyssian expeditions, or in the Thalmor's language, a crucial cog in the machine of Alinor. With him dead, the East Empire Company hoped to regain some ground in trade across the Abyssinian Sea. Elenwen, the graceful ambassador to Skyrim herself. They looked almost identical. If anyone hadn't known better, they might have thought the commissar and Elenwen were twins. I snuck inside the Thalmor embassy through an old tunnel and caught this commissar alone in an office writing a letter. He was an easy target. A cut to his throat, and blood splattered on the floor all the same. Nothing supreme about that. Per curiosity, I picked up his letter, blood-stained and unfinished. Perhaps the Vichys would award me a bonus for whatever information it contained. Except this letter had nothing to do with commerce or shipment, nor even with expedition. The commissar was writing about the Red Guards his company had abducted and shipped. Hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent villagers and children taken from their homeland in Hammerfell and sent away like cattle. What more reason does one need to despise the Thalmor? Unforgivable. The Thalmor never cared for anyone's forgiveness. I brought it back to the East Empire Company. Bonus or not, I didn't care anymore. But the Empire had to do something about it. And after Vichy read through the letter, she just ordered her mage to burn it. I wasn't allowed to leave until I swore to not tell this to a soul. You'd think she was colluding with the Thalmor or afraid of them, wouldn't you? But the truth was so much simpler, and far worse. Reveal the Thalmor's crimes in Hammerfell to the world, and there will be outcry for justice, revenge, action. And action, that's what the Empire cannot afford to take, especially not for a few inconsequential civilians who weren't even Imperial subjects. If Imperial gold could flow into House Vichy's vaults, why waste it on a rescue mission from which the Empire stood to gain nothing? There were quite a few, but I can tell you about the best and worst I've had. Most of them were taken after the East Empire Company paid my ransom. One of the worst I still remember. It was a contract in Cyrodiil, near the Imperial City. The East Empire Company, or the Vichy family to be precise, wanted a specific Imperial officer killed, and they required someone not from Cyrodiil. I did not ask. Contracts taken, targets slain, get paid in gold, then flush the blood with strong drinks. There are no questions, no gray areas. I don't. And why should I? Would asking their motives somehow grant me a higher bonus or free me from their debts sooner? I owed them. I ambushed him in a dark alley, then left him for dead. But that wasn't the end of the contract. I had another task, to find this Imperial's home, then burn it to ash. I went to the Imperial's home as my patron instructed. There, the Imperial's wife slumbered in her chair, silently awaiting her husband's return. What had the Imperial officer done to deserve a woman of such serene beauty, yet a death so cruel and ignoble? So I searched the house, hoping to find an answer to that question. I knew, I think a part of me, wanted that to happen. I found stacks of unsent documents and paperwork, mostly accounting records, letters, and testimonies. This Imperial officer had been investigating the Vichy family for years. The papers he'd compiled were a trove of evidence detailing their crimes. How they forged their accounts, siphoned funds from the company to pay for their soiree, and strong-armed local shops into selling their businesses. I did, and no excuse I say will change that. I set the fire to the documents, then watched as the entire house was set ablaze. But the Imperial's wife, I expected her to awaken from the smoke, yet there was no sign of her at all. A true professional would have left her there, and I did not. I covered my face, then rushed back into the house. The Imperial's wife still sat in the chair, motionless and silent. Without hesitation, I grabbed her and ran back. It was then she opened her eyes just as the fiery wind blew my mask away. She saw my face, the face of her husband's murderer. I agree, and if I were there once more, I think I would still have done it. The Imperial woman's eyes closed again after just a few seconds. As we reached safety, I laid her on the ground and made off as fast I could. Maybe she didn't remember me at all, and even if she did, maybe she only remembered me as her savior. Either way, I would have long left Cyrodiil. I reported my success to Vichy. Without meeting my eyes, she gestured for her bodyguard to hand over the payment. A heavy pouch of gold, enough for me to dine at the Winking Skeever for a full year without a glance at the prices. Contracts taken, targets slain. Get paid in gold, then flush the blood with strong drinks. There are no questions, no grey areas.